Hello, Capricorn. Thank you very much for tuning into this week's read. For the main part of the read, I'm using the Morgan Greer Tarot. For the supportive oracle cards, Queen of the Moon Oracle by Stacey DeMarco. Okay, let's get right into this. Bunch of cards right in the beginning. Okay, so okay. What do we got starting off with? Is this your card? It is your card. You got the Devil card behind the Hanged Man, but then it's waiting for the Star to come forward. And it's going into another really great card for you. Now, I think you're looking to make a change. I think this is something you've been thinking about for a while. This is like a seed that was planted in your brain a while ago. This is the history here. The Page of Pentacles is telling me you've been thinking about walking away from whatever this situation is and going into something completely different. This is not a new thought. This is something you've been thinking about, and you're kind of like, you know what? Whatever the situation is, you're like, I'm not here for it anymore. I'm trying to think of a good way to say it because I feel like it depends on what you're dealing with. But you're done. I do feel like you're done. You've been slowly thinking about it. You've been getting yourself comfortable with the idea. Capricorn's not one to just walk away in the middle of something. But if somebody's treating you poorly, or there's something not right here, if you're being used in some way, I feel like you're going to look at it and be sure that that's exactly what's happening. And once you've decided, like, you know what, this isn't right. This isn't right, and I'm not putting up with it. It takes you a minute to really accept it because I feel like it bothers you to walk away in the middle of something for some reason. I think that's normal Capricorn energy. You don't really like doing that, but you're kind of like, you've gotten used to the thought. Whatever you're walking away from, they might not realize it's coming. Because I do see it. You got this walking away from something and going towards something new. The Three of Wands is at the bottom. You're walking away. They might not see it coming, whoever they are. But there's a reason for that too. It's something to do with the way that they've been treating you. It has something to do with that. And I'm getting like, you're making your decision and you're deciding, you know what, hey, all bets are off if you're going to treat me poorly. If you're going to be rude to me, mean to me, abuse me, be a toxic situation, all bets are off. Once things are toxic, all bets are off. I don't owe this situation anything. You just have to be at peace with yourself for moving on. And I feel like you're making really the best decision. It's taking you a minute. The Hanged Man is like, you don't take this lightly. You're making sure what you're doing, what you're walking away from, and what you're going to walk towards. Because it seems like you're walking towards something. It's been weighing on your mind. This is not new. I don't know why we have to keep saying that. Like, I get it. Like, what else? Well, you got the Emperor card here, too. It bothers you. It's kind of like there may be other people around this situation, and you're like, they may be left in the lurch over this. People who like you don't have negative feelings for, or maybe you just have benign feelings for. It's like they're not good, they're not bad, but you're not looking to screw anybody else over. But at the same time, you can't let that be an excuse to keep you in this situation. Just because you don't want somebody else to have to deal with what it's left over when you walk away, that can't be an excuse to keep you in a bad situation. And it's taking you a minute to really accept that, is what I'm getting. Kind of like, I can't just stay here and keep going through this toxic situation just because I don't want it to bleed off on these other people. I'm going to have to go, and like I'm going to have to let the universe take care of that on its own. We all have to own our own situation. And for me, I can't make the situation better. For some reason, you're in that spot too. Like, I can't improve this situation, so all I can do is move on from it. I'm getting like a very strong move on energy here. Once you make your decision, though, it's done. I feel like it's done. You've made your decision. So for whatever this is, for some of you, this is business. For others of you, it is definitely a relationship. But you know it right off the bat. I think that's why we're reiterating that you've been thinking about this for a while. So if you're watching this reading and you're trying to figure out what it is, unless it's something you've been thinking about for a while and it all of a sudden just clicks in your brain, Like this is not a new thought. This is nowhere near a new thought. This is something you've been thinking about and contemplating. Once you do it though, once you make that step into that realm, you're like, I am done, and you put out the information. Guess what? I'm done, y'all. And that's that. Ace of Pentacles comes in. Once it comes into play, I don't feel it going backwards. I don't feel it stopping. I feel like there's going to be, holding the line and letting people know. But this is the thing with Capricorn. Holding the line is not, I shouldn't say it's not difficult, but it's kind of like you expect that. That's your life thing. It's kind of like holding the line is what you do. Pushing forward is what you do. Other people trying to stop you, that's interesting, but they're not, you're used to it. You're like, yeah, well, that's nothing new. I can handle that. I will get through it. People trying to stand in your way, yeah, well, that's interesting, but no, you're not. It's gonna take some time to fully disconnect from this. I don't think you're at all surprised with that. I feel like, well, you're like, that's how that's gonna be. Like, that's obvious. I feel like on your side, if this is really hitting, you're like, well, that's obvious. It's gonna take some time. Temperance card. Just make sure you're moving towards something positive. Because I'm getting those really good things here in the environment for you. I almost feel like you have 3 choices. That's weird. No, it's 3 choices. You have the Sun card. This is completely disconnecting from what you think you're allowed to what you actually want. How do we do that? Let me just do this card by itself. Don't limit yourself. Whatever you're leaving, yes, you're leaving that. That's its own thing. I feel like what they're centering on now is like, don't restrict yourself. Don't restrict yourself to what you believe you can have. It's a struggle to even say it. I feel like that's a thing. Kind of like, well, I look at my life, I look at what I'm capable of, I look at what I can do, and I plan forward based on what I already know. They're saying, open yourself up to new possibilities. For example, maybe you're a person that works in construction, but you really would like to bake, just for contrast. But you're like, I don't really know how to do it all that well. I like to do it once in a while, but I wouldn't say I was good at it. The thing is, if you get a job in a bakery, just for argument's sake, the longer you're there, the more you'll learn, the better you'll be. That may be the way you become really good at it. And if you get that job at that bakery, and you learn a lot of ins and outs with that, and how this happens, and how you do this, and why you do it this way, and why you do it that way, you may end up in a position where you can open your own bakery at some point. They're saying, leave yourself the room to grow and to think outside the box. Like, I don't know anything about it. I'd like to do it, but I don't know anything about it. I don't think that's smart for me. Let yourself consider the possibility and research the possibility. The Sun card is here saying a whole new way of living is possible for you. Because I feel like for the Capricorns, this is really going to hit with. There's something that you don't let yourself try because you're like, I already know this is the skill set I have. I don't have that skill set. I would like it, but I don't have it. Give yourself the opportunity to at least explore it. I know one person that has Capricorn energy. They went from, I probably shouldn't say, I'm just thinking out loud. They went from one business that was very corporate, let's say that, into a very medical, I think it's medical that they're in. And it all started with them just considering the possibility. And then they're like, well, if I was going to do that, I would need some schooling. Well, how would I make that schooling happen? Well, if I was going to let that schooling happen, what would I have to do to change in my life? Well, if I was going to do that, what else? Like, they started the thought. They tracked down the thought. Currently, they're a lot happier than they were probably like 15 years ago. A lot happier. They did change over, and they made it happen. And they're very thankful they did. It's allowing yourself to do it. I know Capricorn is not afraid of work. But limiting yourself based on what you already know versus what you don't, you can learn a lot. You're very good at learning because when you learn something, you're very stable and you can build something more with it. Like, I would say do it because you know what will happen. If, for example, if we're going to use those 2 analogies, you take the information you had from your previous vocation, you probably will have places you can apply it in your new vocation. Give yourself the opportunity. Something new is going to blossom for you. You just got to accept it. It's all about what you're going to accept. You could go back into something that you're comfortable with and you already know. That will easily come forward for you if you want that. It's all about what you're going to choose at this moment. You accept what you want. You want to go towards something new, allow yourself to try it, allow yourself to get into it and start researching it and build that new set. That's up to you. If you want to go back into something you already know because it's more comfortable and it's more stable, they're saying at this point you get to decide which way you want to go. You really do. It's all about you giving yourself a chance. It's all about you allowing yourself to do it. That's the only person you got to work with. The Six of Cups with the Faith is telling me also, for the people this is really hitting for, this is actually a juncture. You're going to start, if you decide to stay in the same realm you already know, you'll probably stay there. You'll probably stay there for a good decade at least. I don't want to lock it in any farther than that, but it could even be longer. It could be for the rest of your life. Could be. But you're going to stay in this realm for at least a good decade. If you go towards this other, whatever this new vocation is you're considering, because I feel like for a lot of you it's vocation or new situation, whatever it is, it's a general read, we'll keep it open. If you go that way, it'll start slow, but that's normal. You're expecting that. A decade passes though, and you're going to be in a much better place. It's going to be kind of like one of those times where you look back and I'm so thankful I did that. I'm so thankful I made that choice. I'm so thankful I gave myself the chance to try this and build this new skill set. And not only do I have a new skill set, but I'm still able to apply the old things I already knew. And you're going to be surprised how they cross over. Because it's almost like if you look at if you're in construction and you're going into baking, you're like, I don't understand how that's going to cross over. But there's something there where it would cross over. You're like, I understand things in a deeper level that everybody else doesn't. And it gives me an edge, gives me an advantage. It's just about giving yourself the chance. Anything else? All right. I'm going to shut this down here. I hope that helps. Thank you for watching. If you'd like a direct reading from me, shoot me an email. jamesforastral@gmail.com. That's James the number 4, astral@gmail.com. Thank you.